Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at the hardest bosses you can fight in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. For this list, we've picked bosses that forced players to spam healing spells, gulp down potions, and shove obscene amounts of food into their mouths.
It's no use.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
The strongest troll. Long gone are the days of troll face memes and rage comics, but at the time of the release of Skyrim, it was stronger than ever. And if there's one troll to rule them all, it'd be this guy on our journey to High Hrothgar. Now, obviously, it's just a regular frost troll, but these creatures can be a total pain to deal with. It's one of the most rage-quitting hotspots for most players, and it's because we encounter it so early. You likely won't be properly equipped for this encounter, and in this case, that's a little more deadly than usual. This one's for you, Frost Troll. Malkoran. This line alone jump scares many Skyrim players.
A new hand touches the beacon.
A new hand touches the beacon. If you don't know, this is the line spoken when you pick up Meridia's beacon, which allows you to start the quest, The Break of Dawn. If you do this quest early, or even upwards of level 30, you're sure to get your butt kicked by Malkoran. This guy outright one-shots you on even lower difficulties, and he genuinely deals so much more damage than any other creature at the same level. In fact, he's one of the most powerful wizard enemies in the entire game. If you're hit by his Ice Storm, it's pretty much a sure one-hit knockout. General Falx Carius. If you've played the Elder Scrolls III Morrowind, chances are you've met with Captain Falx Carius, the Imperial commander stationed at Fort Frostmourne. In fact, as the rumor goes, it was Falx Carius who founded Ravenrock. Unfortunately, we find him at the very same fort in Skyrim's Dragonborn DLC, this time as an undead general. As it is sometimes with these tragic recurring characters, he'll find peace at the hands of the Dragonborn. It's a pretty challenging fight, and Carius won't go down without you taking a few swings from the weapon he wields, the Champion's Cudgel. If you do defeat him, you of course get this sweet hammer. Shame we couldn't be friends. The Caller.
How nice to meet you.
In the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, in the third quest within the College of Winterhold questline, you'll be sent to retrieve 3 books from the Felglow Keep. As it turns out, another student of the college, Orthorn, has stolen them, but has himself been kidnapped and now held prisoner in the fort by the Caller. She's an Altmere mage who usually dual wields 2 spark spells, and she'll often summon all 3 types of Paarthurnax. Not only that, but she's capable of summoning multiple of them at the same time, and she can even teleport. Luckily, you can actually avoid this boss fight if you succeed in a persuasion check against her. Alternatively, you can be evil and let her have Orthorn, in turn giving you the stolen books. She's a maniac. Vulthuryol. Good old Blackreach. Some hate it, some love it, but we've all been there in our quest to stop Alduin. But have you noticed the giant glowing orb in the middle of the dungeon? Well, as some of you have guessed, you can actually shout at it and summon a secret dragon for a boss fight against it. If that's not one of the coolest secrets in the game, then we don't know what is. This is Vulthuryol, and it's a bit of a special dragon. While it's technically an ancient dragon, he boasts slightly lower damage output than one, but while you can use the Bend Will shout on normal dragons, this won't work on Vulthuryol. While it might seem obvious, at lower levels this dragon is devastating. So come prepared, or perhaps save the fight for a later time. Ralis Sedarys.
Oh, God. What happened? What have I done?
In the Dragonborn DLC, you've likely met the Dunmer treasure hunter, Ralis Sedarys. He's outside Kolbjorn Barrow searching for the relics of an old dragon priest. It's probably safe to say that most people ended up sparing Ralis, but it turns out this guy's actually a total powerhouse if you do fight him. It makes sense though, given the awesome weapon we can loot from him. While he may be one of the strongest followers, this is reflected if you choose to fight him yourself as well. Being immensely tanky and highly damaging, this otherwise unassuming boss earns this spot. Hamelyn. And speaking of unassuming, let's talk about the Hunting Brew Meadery outside Whiterun. It's one of those locations you don't think much of, and it just seems like not much goes on there. Of course, you can't actually even access it without a key, but if you do the Thieves Guild questline, you're sure to end up here. And if you find yourself in the basement, you'll quickly find yourself up against this Breton mage named Hamelyn who seems to have gone insane. Apparently, he was once an apprentice alchemist in the College of Winterhold, but now he's some sort of golem down here in the Meadery. He's got a pretty damn potent selection of spells, of all elements, so if you don't bring a warding spell or freeze him in place, he can chunk your health pretty fast. Sigdis Gauldurson. If you play on the default difficulty, it's likely that you won't find most Draugrs difficult, except for the stronger versions of them like the Deathlords. And yet, some of the strongest enemies found in Skyrim are unique named variants. If you've done the quest Forbidden Legend, you've faced Sigdis Gauldurson before, and this beast of a Draugr wields the Gauldur Blackbow, a magicka-absorbing bow while spamming you with unrelenting force and disarm. Even worse, he'll teleport occasionally and even make clones of himself. This guy is absolutely no joke. It's one of the hardest, most tedious boss fights in the entire game. Paarthurnax.
The blades are wise not to trust me. Only Khan Niov. I would not trust another Dova.
Alright, it's time for one that's a little bit different. If you finish Skyrim and its main quest, or rather if you finish the Blades questline, you'll have one last task to do for them, which is to slay Paarthurnax. Of course, you can opt to simply never finish that quest, but this is a quest that almost no one wants to do. He's helped us on our journey to stop Alduin, and he's barely even fighting back as well. It's such a gut-wrenching fight to take on, to the point where 90% of the player base chose to just ignore it. You can justify doing it, but it's still one of the most unpleasant and difficult boss fights in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Orchendor.
What was that?
The Daedric Princes are often the subject of the most interesting and fun quests in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, and the only cure is no exception. In our quest to gain favor of Perryrite, we'll end up pitted against Orchendor, an incredibly powerful Bosmere mage. While most mage boss fights that teleport seem to have some sort of more specific trigger for their teleporting, Orchendor is different and will continuously do it after taking a few hits. This guy has a whopping 100% magic resistance and is immune to almost every shout in the game. His offense is nothing out of the ordinary, but him being so difficult to kill scales up the difficulty of the fight by a ton. If you're up against Orchendor, cross your fingers. Gauldur Brothers. Technically, these count as 3 bosses, but being troublesome really brings them together. You encounter these soulless siblings during the Forbidden Legend quest while searching for the mystical Gauldur amulet. These Draugr Lord brothers, Mikrul, Jirik, and Sigdis, each have a fragment of their father's amulet, which they murdered him for. Individually, they might seem quite conventional, but battling these brothers one after the other will wear you out. Mikrul tries to gang up on you with his undead allies, Jirik gets a healthy dose of temporary elemental invulnerability, and Sigdis will summon a seemingly endless supply of clones of himself. Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in for a rematch, this time as ghosts. Krosis. Every Skyrim player knows that when a dragon priest busts out of their tomb, things are gonna get heated, sometimes literally. Krosis boasts a level of 50. He uses frost magic, but strangely also a staff of fireballs as well. If that doesn't sound tough enough, he's also best buds with a dragon. Unlike most other dragon priest tombs, Krosis was buried on a mountain. This means that when his staff or his dragon's mouth is pointed at you, there are no pillars or walls to hide behind, so shield yourself or skedaddle. We suggest bringing a follower with you, for support, and totally not as bait. Alduin. The World Eater really shakes the sweet rolls out of your pocket when you first bump into him, all the way back in Helgen. When you finally fight him in Sovngarde, you are not the same powerless and perplexed Dragonborn from the start of the game. However, no amount of experience makes being on the business end of Alduin's fury any easier. But having some deceased Nord heroes by your side does help. Alduin's appetite for destruction is on full display when he showers you with meteorites, blasts you with armor-shattering shouts, and incapacitates you by regularly chomping at you. Even after using the powerful Dragon Rend shout, Alduin still poses a huge threat to the player's health bar if they're not careful. Miraak.
The time for talking is long past.
Interacting with Miraak is kind of like fighting a toxic player who's been playing since early access, except this time, they're actually better than you. He is the first ever Dragonborn and has a bunch of Dragonborn powers that you've never seen before. Miraak can shout some armor into existence, steal your dragon souls, and even ride dragons. This masked menace can also use his shouts way more often than you, to the dismay of your ears. When you finally get the better of him, he resorts to taking big swigs of dragon souls to replenish his health. Eventually, you'll beat him, like you're ready for one of those empty your inventory sort of battles. Naaslaarum and Voslaarum. Sure, the Dragonborn would have fought plenty of dragons by the time they faced this destructive duo, but fighting these legendary dragons at once is something else entirely. Naaslaarum and Voslaarum will burst forth from the ice and sap the life out of you in-game and in the real world. They will spam the Drain Vitality Dragon Shout, which will slowly reduce your health, stamina, and magicka over time, and also causes you to get a bit dizzy. Then, they'll follow that up by trying to cook you to perfection while you struggle to stand up. Their bloodthirsty teamwork might be too much for some players, so bring a buddy to even the odds. The Forgemaster. If a larger and more lethal Dwarven Centurion was somehow a Fire-type Pokemon, you'd have the Forgemaster. Dwarven Centurions are tough as nails, but this thing will really grind your gears. This mechanical monstrosity arises from literal lava and will make you wish you never stepped foot in a Dwemer ruin. It is immune to fire, which is a given, but it also spits it out like it's going out of fashion. It also hits like a truck. One way to not get barbecued is to exploit its only major weakness. It does not do well against frost damage. Harkon.
It appears I have you to thank for turning my daughter against me. I knew it was only a matter of time before she'd return with hatred in her heart.
Lord Harkon isn't like the regular bloodsuckers you come across in Skyrim. This pure-blooded vampire clan leader is a pure pain in the butt to deal with. If you choose to oppose him, you're in for a tough time. When he reveals his true vampiric form, he moves faster, he spams spells, and he summons gargoyles and skeletons to pummel you. He's resistant and sometimes straight up immune to different types of attacks, but he is a vampire, so use lots of fire and sunlight-based attacks against him. The real danger is trying to survive, because Harkon hovers over a blood altar, which helps him regenerate his health. So if you're not stocked up for this fight, he might bleed you dry. The Ebony Warrior.
You are my last challenge. Only you can send me to Sovngarde with honor. Make your preparations. When you're ready, come find me at my last vigil.
Once you reach level 80, you'd think you could handle anything Skyrim throws at you, right? Enter the Ebony Warrior. It's not about revenge or justice with him. He challenges you to a duel so he can finally rest in peace in Sovngarde. But just because he's ready to die doesn't mean that he'll make it easy for you.
Damn you!
The Ebony Warrior also has a 50% resistance to most elemental damage and poison damage, along with a ton of perks. If you somehow manage to whittle his health down, he'll use spells to reduce the damage he takes, and if given the chance, he can restore his health completely. What adds to the mystery of this perplexing powerhouse is that he can use the most iconic dragon shout in the game. You know the one. Karstaag. Remember how afraid you were of giants at the beginning of the game? Well, how would you like to relive that fear pretty late in the game? That's where Karstaag steps in. This level 90 behemoth will make you feel like a noob again every time he flings you around, chills your bones, or tanks massive damage. He is immune to frost, poison, and paralysis, but he is only slightly weak to fire attacks. Karstaag also regenerates health super fast, can summon ice wraiths, and has a 75% resistance to shock damage. Once you beat him, you can summon him 3 times before he gives you the cold shoulder forever. Ahzidal. Among the deadly dragon priests, Ahzidal stands above the rest, or rather hovers. Just like his dragon priest bros, he likes to be surrounded by Draugr minions and has the annoying habit of resurrecting them. With a 0-second casting time for his spells, you'll have to get used to being on fire a lot. Each fireball does a massive amount of damage and continues to burn you for a while. While the other dragon priests tend to dress for comfort, Ahzidal is the only one who wears armor and has attained a respectable level of 60. Stealth archers can use pillars for cover and poke at him until he dies, while the rest can bring lots of fire-resistant potions and maybe some ointment too.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.